Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm John Barber, and with me is Jeff Dover. Let's talk football.
That's right. We're average football fans. We watch football on Saturday and Sunday. That's why the podcast is titled Saturday versus Sunday. And this is our review of the Kansas State-Arizona game. What are your initial thoughts?
I'm a little embarrassed that I don't have an Arizona shirt in the collection. So
that is an Arizona shirt. It's just
well, not the right Arizona and not the right Wildcats. Yeah,
we cover NFL and college here, and that's we're going to watch the Cardinals game tomorrow. But as of now, that's an Arizona, still the state of Arizona team. So you're okay.
Yeah. Arizona Wildcats. I apologize. I don't have your shirt right now, but it's on its way because you deserve the shirt. Because I think the shirt's gonna get on the wall, and I'm gonna be wearing it more this year. I think they're for real. I think Arizona is for real in the Big 12, and Noah Fafita looks like he's back to the Fafita like I remember being.
Right.
Okay, so this guy's legitimate.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of people. A lot of people predicted Arizona not to be good this year. I don't think a lot of people picked them to start 3-0, and so there's sometimes, we just did the review of the Clemson Georgia Tech game. Go ahead and watch or listen to that if you haven't yet. But there's times where Arizona's offense looks unstoppable, right? And super dynamic, which is the opposite of the Clemson offense. We felt like that should be better this year, and it isn't. But there's times where the Arizona offense looks amazing, and Kansas State is a good defense. So that really says something about their offense.
Yeah, and that's the other thing here. So Arizona is a surprise. The Wildcats are surprised for, I guess, just last year went so bad, and even though they had Tedera McMillan, it just didn't work out. It was a very disappointing season. But so I think maybe they just weren't on anyone's radar here. Mm-hmm. And this year they came out of the gates. Now, obviously, the first two games, those weren't strong opponents, but Kansas State was one of the favorites to win the Big 12. Now I think they've got essentially no chance. This was not a Big 12 game, by the way.
No, that's a really good point. They said that on the broadcast. It was scheduled in 2016, and so it doesn't count as a Big 12 game, which Kansas State has to be, really thankful for, because this would have been a real big hole if they were.
Yeah, and that's I mean, I guess that's the only saving grace for K-State, because I guess technically they're technically still in the hunt for the Big 12, because this wasn't a Big 12 loss, but they sure as hell don't look like they should be in the hunt.
Well, and so I had the note here. I said Avery Johnson just doesn't look good. 13 for 29 is terrible. Like under 50% is really bad. He's a junior. And this is another similar thing to Noah Fafita. Like Johnson looked really good a couple of years ago, and you're sort of hoping for an improvement or building on that year from year and stuff, but he does not look any better now than he did at the beginning. And that is really poor, like quarterback play. Like you're not going to win anything if you go 13 for 29 for 88 yards.
That is, I was expecting more out of him, but maybe I shouldn't. He's missing open receivers, and two things. He holds the ball way too long, which tells me he's not seeing the open person, or he's not getting through the offense as constructed. And like at some point, if nobody's open, it's check down, scramble, or throw it away. If they quote unquote take away everything, that's how those should end. Unless the defense totally wins up front. But I mean the ones where he's holding on and holding on and holding on. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, he's quick, and so he can find more time than the average QB who's not as fast as he is. But some of those plays, he's retreating. It's like the play was over like 5 seconds ago. You should have thrown this away, hit the check down, or scrambled for a yard or two. Yeah. Not this backwards stuff.
That is a great point. There was that one point, I think it was in the third quarter, where he was running backwards and there's 3 defenders running at him. That should never happen. Is a junior QB who's been playing the whole time, that you got to pick that up sooner. Like you can't, there's nothing good's going to happen from running backwards and trying to make something happen. You know what I mean? So no. And I had at the beginning, I had a note here that Arizona's defense looks much better than I thought they would, because again, going into the season, Kansas State was supposed to be good, especially their offense. But they held them. So Avery Johnson just passed for 88 yards. The Kansas State ran as a team for 105 yards. 75 of those yards came on one play. So that's 88 yards passing and like 80 yards running total, or not even, no, sorry, 30 yards running. Like that's a ridiculous output. So
This offense is horrifically bad.
yeah.
And I don't know. It's just a little bit shocking, but we have to give credit to the Arizona defense.
Yes.
It was causing all kinds of havoc. That defense, I think, is for real.
Yes.
At least it looks like it's for real. And you're right. That 175-yard run was a wildcat. It was just a direct snap,
Yes.
and the guy just found a lane and off he went. But that's no way to design an offense.
No.
So I actually did the quick numbers here. So I'm big on the. I think long runs like that they're not part of the offensive structure. You don't run the ball for 1 yard per attempt and then just hope to break a 75-yarder. That doesn't make that's not a real offense. And that's what happened here. If you take out the 75-yard run, they were getting 1.1 yards per rush.
Yeah.
Whereas Arizona they went for 234 yards on the ground. Mahdi, that he went for 189. Holy, they were just gashing them for chunks and chunks. And that's another thing, at least in the last number of years, I don't expect to see from Kansas State. But even if you take away their longest rush, they're still going for 4 yards of play.
Yes. Whereas
Arizona's down to 1 yard of play. So essentially they're getting nothing, and they got lucky on one run.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You mentioned one of your earlier points is that Arizona's defense looks legit. And I was doing a bit of research on this for today because we're professionals. And 10 out of the top 12 tacklers are seniors or juniors. So I think that's what it was. They haven't had a good defense, going like previous years and stuff. So I don't think anyone expected to be good, but maybe they've played guys for a while. People have been there a long time. Like the people had the two players that had the sacks and tackles for the loss are both seniors. You know what I mean? So it's a veteran defense. So, and it looked like it on Friday. So, so I think you're right about the defense. Arizona's defense is better than I think people would have thought.
And I like Brennan there as a coach. And Fafita looks like a slower Kyler Murray.
Oh, good comparison.
I guess everyone's slower than Kyler Murray, but he's got tons of wiggle.
Yes,
and he's got that total gunslinger thing going on. Like I think to his detriment last year, but this year it seemes to be because they also missed on a couple bombs that were just like a fingertip away from being there. So let's talk a little bit about just the actual way this game went.
Sure. Well, let me just get to your point with your comparison to Kyler Murray. I said, just for the record, that's why you wore the Cardinals shirt today. And so you just want to go back and edit that thing out from the beginning where it was a mistake. So continue.
It's too much work to edit that out. But yes, we'll go with that. That's why I'm wearing this, because I was going to draw that comparison.
Yeah.
So really, this game should have been even further out of reach. It shouldn't have been this close.
23-17 does not reflect how it felt like watching this game because Arizona way outgained them.
Right. And the Arizona, I keep wanting to say the Wildcats, but Arizona let them back into this game on multiple plays. So they had the first quarter muffed punt.
Yep.
Which, I mean, and that it looked like for a second it was interference, but he just got blocked into the kicker.
Yep.
But that's on you. You got to know where you are on the field, and you can't just get casually shoved into your own kicker. Like you have to have awareness of where you are on field. So that's a mistake. I mean, obviously the K-State guy, good for him for shoving him, but you can't that can't happen. Like you just can't be in that position. Then Arizona gets another block. They get a blocked punt, and then the ball like ricochets off the ref, and so that one. So that's at the beginning of the third quarter. They go 3 plays and out, block punt, and then K-State 13 yards touchdown. So they keep letting them in with all of these mistakes that just should have never happened. And I think they missed a field goal too. So
yes.
Oh, and then right after that in the third quarter, the halfback option pass
that was terrible.
The interception.
Yeah.
What do you do? And when you're running that effectively, again, I don't want to do I don't want to lean into this. I can call plays better than him, but why do you go for something so like off the sheet here? Like, so why do you have to get fancy when you're running the ball so effectively?
Yeah, no. And so so to your point, the Arizona field goal kicker 3 for 6. So you're right. And it was because at the end of the day, they had hold on, let me pull it up there. So Arizona had 412 yards, and Kansas State only had 193, so twice as many for Arizona. And the only reason why it was this close was like the points you said, is the turnovers. But they weren't just turnovers; they were like muff punt on like the 10-yard line, like and that brutal interception when they were driving. So, they're all turnovers are bad, but these ones were particularly killers, because Kansas State only had 8 first downs the whole game. Like this really should have been way more of a landslide victory for Arizona.
Yeah, if you look at that box score, this should be like 35-10, something like that. Like that's what the numbers look like. But when you hand the other team short fields, like they go on a 13-yard touchdown drive. That's not a drive. That's just like that's like a 1 first down, right? So and then they give them short fields twice. So you get 14 points, but you only gain like 30 yards to get 14 points. Like that's where it looks weird. And that's why turnovers are the second most important statistic, and you can't afford to screw stuff up like that. So
I was wondering why the game also was at 9 p.m. Eastern, so that would have been like 6 local. And it's because at 6 p.m. that time, at least it cooled down to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So if they played it during the day, people would have spontaneously combusted. So like they have to play that late, because otherwise it would have been dangerous physically. So yeah.
I was looking at the schedule, and I said to Dina, "Oh, we should go to an Arizona game because there's one that we can fit in." And I was like, "No, not in September. We're not going there." I saw on the broadcast there's a close up. Just at some point, there's a close up of Avery Johnson, and you can see like his hair like blowing a little bit, like in the wind. And I thought, oh, that's good. They have an evening breeze. I'm like, oh no, that's going to feel like he's standing in front of a hot blow dryer. Like that's not a comforting, cooling breeze at all. That's like a suffocating blast of heat.
Yes, walked into a sauna. Yeah, no, it's not good. But okay, so last thoughts for Arizona. So Ismail Madhi is a monster. Like that guy looks incredible. He looked unstoppable the whole game. Running and receiving, right? Because he had 2 catches for 32 yards too. So that guy, you can lean on him as far as he'll take you. And I thought Hunter looked good. He only had 3 catches for 37 yards, but he looks like a legit receiver. Like he's built like one, he moves like one. So I think that and Fafita looked great. Now the one downside for Fafita is that I think he started like 6 for 8 or 8 for 7 or something like that, 7 for 8, but he finished 16 for 33. Like it was definitely, he was colder in the second half. So, but still, you'll take the dynamic, with unstoppable offense for a few drives any day.
Yeah, and some of these games, some of those longer shots that didn't hit will hit.
Yes. Yeah, good point.
And with that kind of run game,
yes.
I don't know if this is an indictment on how bad Kansas State's run defense is versus how good Arizona's run game is. I mean, you could always see that either way, but my takeaway here is that if Arizona plays a clean game, this is a no contest.
Oh yeah, like absolutely, like this should have been way more blown out Arizona blowout win than it was. And if you're going forward with Kansas State, the one thing you could be happy about is Jace Brown. He looks like a great receiver. It looks like he's the main person. Like they really try to throw it to him. He got targeted a lot. He had 6 catches for 68 yards, and he also had that one run for 75 yards. So he was the only offense you had on Friday for a Kansas State fan was Jace Brown.
Okay, so last thought on Kansas State is, do you think if he keeps playing this badly, they could actually bench Avery Johnson?
Yeah, I don't know who the backup is, but absolutely. Like that. So they lost Iowa State at the beginning. They lost Army last week. They lost Arizona now. They barely beat the UND, whoever that team was. So the next one they host UCF. I don't know. That could be, that's up at Baylor. I feel like that's a loss now. Like so at some point, you might have to make that call.
I mean,
which is unbelievable because there was sleeper thought like win the Big 12 this year, be really good. Like,
and instead, I think if this game is a snapshot of where these two teams are headed, Arizona is now, I mean, I guess, you can only go with what we have by whatever this is, week 3. How can you not have Arizona in the mix for the Big 12 right now after that type of performance?
Well, I tell you, we're going to find out soon because their next game is at Iowa State. So, and the Iowa State, as of recording, is ranked 14th. So if they do that, then they've got a bunch of manageable games after that. They've got Oklahoma State and Houston and Cincinnati. So it's Arizona. It's all in front of them right now.
Yep. And Rocco Becht is that type of quarterback who, I mean, we say this all the time, but he's the guy you bet on in the fourth quarter to win the game if it's close. And that's just because he keeps winning games when they're close.
Yeah.
Like he's Brock Purdy 2.0 there. So that's a huge test for Arizona. So this was the first test. The first two games were warm-ups, let's say. This is a real test. The next one against Iowa State, who is a team that has developed the skill to win. Like Iowa State wins games, right?
Yeah.
And especially in the fourth quarter. So that's a massive test for Arizona if they can hang in there. If they can beat them, that's huge. That's huge for Arizona.
Then they're in the front runner for the Big 12 after that. So absolutely.
Yep. All right. Well, so I guess the last thought is arrows down on K-State, arrows up on Arizona.
That's right.
They are the real Wildcats.
Oh, good one. You saved that right for the end.
That's the end. All right. I think it's a good place to leave it. So, by the way, if you're still watching, and we really appreciate that you took the chance on our channel. We know it's kind of small. So if you like what we got going on, we'd super appreciate a like and a subscribe, and maybe even share it with somebody who you think might enjoy this, but only if you like it. But appreciate you being here. So for Jeff Dover, I'm John Barbin, and that's your Saturday versus Sunday podcast.